very good morning to all the students, and I welcome all of you on Gate Chemical Planet. I would like to thank all the students who subscribed my channel, and I'm very happy that you are showing interest in my series and lectures. Thank you so much for supporting me. So student, in my last lecture of membrane separation processes part 1, we have discussed about the overview of the membrane, the attributes of the membrane material, membrane characterization and membrane modules, and also we have discussed the disadvantages of membrane. If by chance you missed that video, then the link in the description is given. Then go to the link and watch the full video. Okay, so now we will start the classification of membrane processes. The membrane processes are divided or classified on the basis of two types of driving forces. First is the pressure driven membrane processes for liquids, and second is the concentration driven processes. So here we will see microfiltration, ultrafiltration, reverse osmosis and nanofiltration. So in all these processes, the pressure is the driving force, and therefore they are the pressure driven membrane processes for liquids. So first we will discuss the microfiltration. In this lecture we will discuss only the microfiltration and also one tutorial question on microfiltration, and then we will come on ultrafiltration, reverse osmosis and nanofiltration in later on lectures. Okay. And second classification of membrane processes are based on concentration driven processes. So the dialysis, hemodialysis, liquid membrane separations and pervaporation are the example of concentration driven processes. Okay, so in this way the classification of membrane processes has been done. So first we will discuss the microfiltration process. So now come on to microfiltration. The separation of fine particles and colloids from a liquid, and it is separation of particulate from a gas using a porous membrane having pore size in the range of 100 to 10 to the power 4 nanometers. So in case of microfiltration, what we are separating? We are separating fine particles and colloids from a liquid, okay, and particulates from a gas using a porous membrane. And what is the pore size range? The pore size is in the range of 100 to 10 to the power 4 nanometers. So here these are the uses of microfiltration. Basically students, these are the traditional uses of microfiltration. In later on slides, we will discuss the commercial applications of microfiltration process also. So here the separation of microorganisms, for example the separation of yeast from the fermentation broth, it is an example of microfiltration process. In microfiltration, what is the type of membrane? What is membrane type? Membrane is porous. Mostly the symmetric membranes are used, but in some cases asymmetric membranes are also used for microfiltration processes. The pressure differential is very important. Okay, you can learn this value of pressure differential for microfiltration case. Okay, sometime there may be a question in GATE exam or in other examination related to the pressure differential for microfiltration. So the pressure differential in case of microfiltration process is less than 2 bars, and the separation mechanism is sieving or size exclusion. So this is the introduction of microfiltration. So we will discuss some more thing about microfiltration. The thickness and pore size. The thickness and pore size is very important. 10 to 150 micrometer is the thickness of microfiltration membrane, and the pore size is range is 0.1 to 10 micrometer. high membrane porosity up to 70% is there. Okay, so the membrane porosity is up to 70%. Now come on to the membrane material for microfiltration processes. There are three types of membrane materials used for microfiltration. So first type of membrane material is the inorganic material or inorganic membrane. It is alumina, zirconia or titanium membrane or also the glass membrane. Second type of membrane material is hydrophilic and partially hydrophilic polymers. So what are those? The cellulose acetate, the polycarbonate, polysulfone and polyimides. These are hydrophilic and partially hydrophilic polymers used for microfiltration membrane. Okay, and third type of material is the hydrophobic polymers, and hydrophobic polymers are polypropylene, PTFE, polyvinylidene fluoride. So these are the hydrophobic polymeric materials used for making the microfiltration processes, Okay, so now come on to the types of flow and filtration arrangement. It is very important to know in case of microfiltration processes. So there are two types of flow, or we can say the filtration arrangement possible in case of microfiltration processes. So in case of microfiltration processes, first type of filtration arrangement is cross flow arrangement, and second is the dead end filtration. In cross flow filtration arrangement, the feed flows parallel to the membrane surface. Most of the particles or solute retained are swept away with the flowing feed side liquid, and if the desired concentration of the retentate is not attained in single pass, then a part of the liquid is recirculated. So here the permeate we will get the permeate as a product. Okay, so this is the cross flow filtration. So now we will discuss the dead end filtration arrangement. The feed flow in this case is normal to the membrane surface. Here you can see here it is feed and it is flowing normal to the membrane surface. So the retentate particles or the solute remain on the membrane, forming a cake or a gel layer. So here retained particles or the solute, or also known as the retentate, which is remain on the membrane, it forms a cake. Here it forms a cake or layer on the membrane. The particles accumulation on the membrane increases the filtration resistance, and the applied pressure may be gradually increased to overcome the resistance and to maintain the flow. So here there is a accumulation or retained particles or solute which remains of the membrane, and it forms a cake or gel layer, and the particle accumulation on the membrane increases the filtration resistance. And how this overcome? This can be overcome by the applied pressure which maintain the flow also. So this is the dead end filtration arrangement. So now we will discuss the applications of microfiltration in more details. So it is used in sterilization and clarification in food and beverages, and it is used in clarification of cheese whey. It is used in making small scale laboratory separations for biological analysis of soft drinks, wines and pharmaceutical products. It is also used for making sterilized product for ultravenous. It is used in harvesting of cell from a fermentation broth, and it is also used for wastewater treatment and separation of emulsified oil droplets from wastewater, and also used in clarification of dextrose solution. Okay, so these are the applications of microfiltration. These applications are very important to know because the microfiltration is the newly added topic in membrane separation processes. So here it is important to discuss the microfiltration in more details. Okay, so now we will come on some calculations related to flux for microfiltration case. Okay, so the objective of the microfiltration is to concentrate a suspension by forcing the liquid through a pores of the membrane. So it is clear to all the students, I think, what is the objective of microfiltration. The microfiltration objective is to concentrate a suspension by forcing the liquid through the pores of membrane. And how we will calculate flux? The flux for this case may be expressed by the Darcy law. Okay, it is very important equation. JW equals to K dash delta P, or it is also equal to LP delta P. So what is the meaning of delta P here? Delta P is the pressure driving force. And what is the meaning of K dash here? K dash is the constant, same as the water permeability. Here water permeability is capital LP. They depends upon the porosity, pore size distribution and pore tortuosity, or also the liquid density and the viscosity. Here dependency is towards the permeability. So the permeability depends upon the porosity, pore size distribution, pore tortuosity, liquid density and the viscosity. Again, the Hazen-Poiseuille equations, if the flow is laminar, we can write JW equals to epsilon d square upon 32 mu tau delta P upon Lm, or we can say delta P divided by mu Rm, where Rm equals to 32 tau Lm epsilon d square. So here what are the values of epsilon? Epsilon is the membrane porosity, d is the pore diameter, tau is the tortuosity of the pores, Lm is the membrane thickness, mu is the liquid viscosity, delta P is the applied pressure driving force or pressure gradient, Rm is the flow resistance of the membrane of unit area. Sometimes the membrane structures or morphologies resembles more like an assembly of particles with void spaces, which is similar to a very thin packed bed. And for such cases of membrane, the pressure drop flow relation is given by Kozny-Kármán equation. And what is the Kozny-Kármán equation? JW equals to ds square epsilon cube divided by 180 mu 1 minus epsilon square into delta P divided by Lm, where ds is the equivalent particle diameter. So here it is very important to learn all the equations, how we will calculate the flux for microfiltration membrane. So on the basis of these things, we will discuss one tutorial based on microfiltration flux calculation. So here question is, a 75 micrometer thick polysulfone microporous membrane has an average porosity of epsilon equals to 0.35. Pure water flux through the membrane is 25 meter cube per meter square hour at a pressure drop of 1.2 bar at 25 degrees Celsius. The average pore size is estimated to be 1 micrometer. Calculate the tortuosity factor of the pores. So what we have to calculate? The value of tau, the resistance to flow offered by the membrane. So resistance to flow is Rm, and its water permeability, and we have to calculate the value of permeability of water, that means LP. The viscosity of water at 25 degrees Celsius is given, and it is equals to 0.9 centipoise. First we will write down all the values given. So here density is given. The density is 1 micrometer. We will convert it into 10 to the power 6 meter. So here the value of D is the pore size, average pore size diameter, which is equals to 1 micrometer equals to 10 to the power minus 6 meter. And delta P, which is the pressure gradient or the given here, is 1.2 bar. Okay, and it is equals to 1.2 into 10 to the power 5 Pascal. And mu is the viscosity, which is already given, 0.9 Cp equals to 9 into 10 to the power minus 4 kg per meter second. And thickness is already given. We will convert into meters, 75 into 10 to the power minus 6 meter. And the JW value is already given. Okay. So JW is the water flux of the membrane, and it is 25 meter cube per meter square R. As the water flux is given in terms of R, we will convert it into seconds. So we will multiply here by 3600 to convert hours into seconds. So now we will get the water flux in terms of meter cube per meter square second. So now we will come on other calculations. One important thing to note here is that the fractional open area is taken to be same as the average porosity. Okay, and the average porosity is given already, and it is equals to epsilon equals to 0.35. So now by using the equation 2 to calculate the pure water flux through the membrane, we can write in this manner: JW equals to epsilon D square into delta P divided by 32 mu tau Lm. Here all the values are given. JW is given. Okay, viscosity and thickness are given. The pore diameter is given, and the pressure drop is given. So by putting all the values, we will get the value of tortuosity, which is equals to 2.8. So second thing is to calculate the value of Rm. We can write Rm equals to delta P divided by mu upon JW, because the JW is equals to delta P divided by mu Rm. So easily we can calculate the value of Rm, which is the resistance. So the value of Rm is 1.92 into 10 to the power 10 meter to the power minus 1. It is per meter. Okay, so now we'll come to calculate the other thing, which is the permeability. Liquid permeability, capital LP. From equation 1, we can write JW, the water flux, equals to K dash into the delta P, or we can say delta LP into delta P into LP. So LP, where LP is the water permeability. So we can write LP equals to JW divided by delta P. So we will get the value of delta P in this manner: 5.79 into 10 to the power minus 8 meter cube divided by meter square second into Pascal. Okay, so here in this way we have calculated the value of water permeability. So now we will check which type of flow is there. Either it is a laminar flow or the turbulent flow. So to calculate the type of flow, we will calculate the Reynolds number. So here the value of density for water, we are taking 998 kg per meter cube, and the viscosity, the value of velocity we can calculate with the help of flux, because the unit of flux is meter cube per meter square second. So meter will cancel out, we will get meter per second here. So the velocity is 25 divided by 3600 meter per second. So with the help of value of velocity and density for water, we can calculate the Reynolds number. The Reynolds number equals to du rho by mu, where d is the pore diameter, rho is the density of water, mu is the viscosity of water, and u is the velocity. So by putting all the values, we will get the Reynolds number equals to 7.7 into 10 to the power minus 3. Okay, so definitely this flow is laminar. So what is the condition for laminar flow? For laminar flow, the Reynolds number is less than 2000. So here we can say definitely the flow is laminar. So student, this is the very detailed description about the microfiltration processes. You can learn so many things from this lecture, and I have added one tutorial also, so that you guys may be comfortable to calculate the portion of any question if it is come in examination. And so many things I have added related to the microfiltration process here. So here I wind up this lecture. Okay, thank you so much for listening this lecture, and have a nice day, and please subscribe my channel. Thank you so much.